Welcome to the Etobicoke Lakeshore Podcast. I am delighted with this podcast every week. I get to hang out with my buddy Roger Tuminieri. He is the publisher of Etobicoke Lakeshore Press. I'm Mike. Thanks for joining us. Hi, buddy.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for having me.
I will remind you to subscribe to this podcast. It's a resource if you live in the Mimico, South Etobicoke area. All kinds of great stories. You'll meet great people through the publication. And it's not just available. Well, let's tell people where it's available.
Sure. Well, it's a print magazine, first and foremost, that you can pick up at your local Starbucks or the beer store or your local indie cafe across South Etobicoke.
Any of those indie cafes or Starbucks, when you're dropping these off, just grab me a coffee.
For sure.
I appreciate that. But it's also available online. And
it is.
It's a cool publication to play with online. Where can people find that?
Yeah. Etobicoke you can read our current issue and a handful of our most recent editions. And it's kind of neat the way you can kind of flip through the pages online with the way that we've set it up.
Yeah, it's really slick. I noticed at the top of the publication, it says shining a light on local businesses since 1915. Oh,
Did I make a typo?
No, 2015. Never mind. Man, you're just so established. And you're looking good for your age, I'll tell you that. What we do, and we'll do this again if you don't mind, hats off, by the way, to your special Celebrating Women Entrepreneurs publication.
Thank you.
It's I've seen people flipping through it with my own two eyes. And
nice.
And even somebody looking for themselves. And, of course, Amanda Kirkland is on the cover.
Yeah, it's been well received. Yeah.
And you can find out more about Amanda Kirkland, and she's the owner of Blue Concierge, and you can find that in a previous episode.
That's right.
She's very cool. All right, let's flip through the magazine. Why don't we play that game? Okay.
Let's flip.
We flip through, and then I quiz Roger on who we're talking about. Flip. I should really get the sound effect loaded up. There we go. All right. First of all, I want you to notice that on one of the pages here, Superior Lodge number 501 of the Freemasons, very hipster-looking guy with a great-looking beard and a wonderful smile. They've been in Mimico since 1912. Just a bit longer than the publication. Can I look that hip if I join this group?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
That's
thanks.
what masonry does. It just makes you look better.
I just wanted to point out how cool and hip the guy was. And you can find out more, of course, at Superior Lodge 501@gmail.com. Send a note. This was interesting. I flipped to this page. What is Royal Meats Barbecue?
Oh, if you like meat, then you got to check out Royal Meats Barbecue. It's right at the corner of Kipling and North Queen. And we featured them on the cover of our last Food and Drink edition. That would have been last fall, winter. And they do, how should I say this? It's a specialty shop. I mean, you can literally walk up to a meat counter, pick out your meat, watch them grill it in front of you, and then go and enjoy it. They've got
my mouth
handful
just watered.
Right? Yeah, no, it's fantastic. So if you're a fan of patios, hold your horses because their patio is going to be up and running, I would imagine, in a month or so, and it's beautiful. They've got a huge patio there.
Great.
It's just run by genuinely nice people.
I noticed that about a lot of your clients in this publication. I'm not going to lie to you. They all seem like family. You all seem like you've put together sort of a nice community of people who want to help each other thrive.
Thank you. Yeah, the magazine has become a community, I think, unto itself, and I'm blessed to be able to work with such nice people. They're genuine people. They I think care about others. They care about the community in which they work, and I think that kind of shines through in the publication.
Okay, I found another thing here we can talk about. But before I get to that, I noticed something on the page right adjacent to it. On page 8, attention teachers, sports teams, and everybody as we get to the end of sports seasons and enter into new ones. Excalibur trophies and awards. Check them out. You'll find out more about them on the page adjacent to this.
Yes.
Explain this, mister.
Oh.
Okay, it says here.
Get your own podcast.
Yeah. You like podcasting?
I highly recommend it. So I had no experience podcasting until I came up as a guest on the Office 146 podcast.
Right.
A few months ago. So I sat down with you and I sat down with Cam. And it was, I'll be honest, I was a little bit nervous at first with the headphones and the big microphone in front of me. But it flowed nicely, and working with you and Cam, it was totally a comfortable experience. And I proudly post that podcast on my website. And I was asked some deep questions, some difficult questions that when I kind of reflected on them as I was answering, I thought, that's pretty meaningful. It kind of goes a bit deeper into who I am, where I come from, and where I want to go. And I've actually taken that and obviously started our own podcast channel, the Etobicoke Lakeshore Podcast. And I've taken the spirit of that podcast and some of those questions and have applied them to this podcast. And I asked my guests some of these questions as well. But I highly recommend podcasting to anyone, to be honest with you. I think, podcasting is like the new video. People are busy.
Sing it, brother. Sing it. Go ahead.
People are busy and they need both hands. And you can listen to a podcast and you can learn. You can just kind of zone out, laugh a little bit, and do stuff.
Yeah.
While you're listening to a podcast. And that's
true.
kind of the feedback that I've heard from people, some of the guests on this show in particular. They like to just listen to podcasts and do their work. And a lot of our clients are like, they're busy. They use their hands to work. Like Mark Johnson, for example, the owner of Ed's Real Scoop in Mimico.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the other week.
He's so cool.
Super cool. Super nice guy. Cool. He's an ice cream maker. And
Get
he's
it?
cool, right?
You know what? That
Ice
was
cream
good.
pun. I knew it was coming.
I love when you come in to do your show.
So he's a great example of a guy. So in his work, he's using both hands to craft ice cream. So he listens to podcasting. He likes listening to this podcast channel. So I think he got a kick out of coming on here. We really enjoyed having him. But I think
you're right. It's interesting. You can deep dive a little more into where the business came from, why they're doing it, what their methodology is, right?
Absolutely. And you can really kind of come at it from the perspective of the business owner and a little bit more personally. I think a lot of people put up a front, so to speak, say on social media. They try to show who they want to be and not exactly who they are. I think when you're podcasting, you hear people's voices, you hear them talk, you go back and forth. It's unscripted and it's honest and genuine.
Are we telling people this is unscripted? I've been telling people this is a very highly executed scripted affair. It's true, and you'll be met with warmth and good vibes to make your show sound the same way, because I think that's a lot of what it is.
Yeah. And I think when people come up here as guests, I think immediately they are impressed by your setup here, Mike, at the pod plant.
Well, it's a nice partnership that we have, because I love bringing the community in here to talk about their businesses. Today we'll have another great example of that as Adrian and Andrea, Toronto Real Estate, join us. And it's an opportunity. It's one of these things. I only want to read so much in the week, and I reserve my reading time for Etobicoke Lakeshore Press. I don't have a lot of other time in my reading schedule, and Trump tweets.
That's all you can handle.
It really is, and it's more than I can handle.
It's a 32-page digest publication. The content is hyper-local, and it's light.
All right,
we're not writing about too many
the articles,
heavy topics. I'm not looking to win a Pulitzer Prize here. We're shining a light on local businesses, and people love where they live. So I think there's a lot of interest in reading the publication.
If I had anything to say about nominating you for a Pulitzer Prize, I'd be on it. Man.
Yes.
But you can podcast.
You never know.
And find out more Fiat Lux Podcasts, plural, @gmail.com, or you can reach out to Roger. Where can people talk to you?
Oh, they can find me on the website, etobicokelakeshorepress.com, or by email, etobicokelakeshorepress@gmail.com.
Okay, so now let's get into the meat and potatoes. As we've been talking about here, we reach out to the community. We bring them into the podcast, and you put them into the publication. Tell me a little bit about how you met today's guests.
Oh, for sure. Well, our next guests today are Andrea Turpin and Adrian Coimbra, and they're a husband and wife real estate team based in Mimico. And we had a little bit of a coffee chat before the show, and it kind of dawned on me in this conversation that they epitomize their customer base. They are a family, young professional family. They got two young boys. They live in Mimico, and they live Mimico.
Right.
Okay. So let me kind of extrapolate on that for a second. To my knowledge, and they can, attest to this or
deny
it. But I get the sense that when they have free time, and they're busy people, busy parents, they probably don't have a ton of free time. But when they do, my guess is they spend it in their neighborhood, in and around Mimico. They're not necessarily jumping downtown to do stuff, because they could do it in their own neighborhood. But super nice folks.
It's so true, though. Mimico's got that buzz to it where you could be downtown, but you don't need to be. Everything is right here.
Everything's right there.
And you're within an arm's reach of being downtown in just a few minutes. So.
And from a personal perspective, Jessica and I did a bit of work on our house this past fall, and we decided to move out and rent an Airbnb in Mimico.
Oh, wow.
For a week or so.
Just to get out so the
Just
rentals
get out,
could be done.
let the folks do what they needed to do. And I really got to live Mimico. At the time, Luke was pretty young. He was, maybe just over a year. And I would push him down Royal York, grab a coffee.
In a stroller, I hope.
In a stroller.
Okay.
I just roll the
you
kid.
You just want to push him. It's not good parenting.
He's kind of, he was portly at the time, so he rolled nicely. So yeah, we would go down and we kind of like, pass the flower market, pass the meat market, grab a coffee at Jimmy's, kill some time just walking around, let Mama kind of do her thing.
Yeah.
Come home, stop in at San Remo for some treats, and then head on home. And it's really I think it's a tightly knit neighborhood, but I'm sure Andrea and Adrian can add some more detail into why they love Mimico.
Thanks for joining us in the studio.
Thanks so
for
much.
having us.
That was a really nice. You both chimed in beautifully.
Like that?
Yeah, that was nice.
We're always in sync.
And also a little bit in harmony, if I might add. That was well done. But delighted to have you in. It's interesting to get a realtor's perspective on a neighborhood that they love.
For sure.
And I like that you love your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because that must mean that you are fully. Look at this. Look what we just did. I just
Like
asked.
that?
I just pointed at the mic, like get closer in on that mic, and because they're sharing one, it's just a lovebird moment. We're gonna have to get. We're gonna have to.
I'll
get
take
this
a picture.
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
it's adorable. But it is nice to have your perspective because you don't just love to put people in homes, and it's great to make money as a realtor, but you have a responsibility when you live in that neighborhood to do the best job. They're going to be your neighbors.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Give me a little bit of a perspective on how that feels and how you manage that.
That's a great question. We live and breathe Mimico. We not necessarily push people to come to Mimico, but we've had a lot of clients that are curious about it, and they've contacted us. They're coming from downtown, and they want our perspective. So obviously, we have positive things to say about it. We've been living in the community for 15 years. So we've taken people on tours, and Mimico is unique. It has like 3 distinct kind of little pockets of Mimico. So you have Mimico proper, you have Mimico Village, and then you have Mystic Point, and then an extension of that is like Humber Bay Shores, where all the condos are. So it's a very, very unique community. And, in the past, it's been, one of the most affordable, I guess you can say that, in Toronto neighborhoods to be in. And now it's been up and coming, and now I feel like we've reached that point, and it's growing.
Well, it's funny because I think we call it gentrifying neighborhoods, and we've watched it happen with Liberty Village. We've watched it happen in Queen West. Even Queen Street East, I notice, has become that kind of neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And you point out that this was a really affordable neighborhood by Toronto terms for many years.
That's right.
Is that now changing?
Absolutely.
It's definitely changing.
Yeah.
Freehold houses, townhouses, semis, whatever. Everything's multiple offers, even condos for that matter. I think this Toronto market in general right now, it's hot. So Mimico is definitely a desirable pocket to be in. I think the proximity to downtown, the easy access by highway, easy access by transit, TTC, Mimico Go.
The lake is like literally at your doorstep.
It is.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
It's huge.
It's so fun that you can be in a neighborhood where the lake is not necessarily in view, and you turn a corner and you really are at the lake.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It is. It's cool. And now, sorry, Roger, I hijacked it, man. I didn't mean to hijack the interview. I get so into real estate, and I'm really into this neighborhood because
For sure.
things that I notice about it are that there is still a community vibe. There's seniors in the community that all know each other, that have been here for decades. Their kids tend to want to be in this neighborhood near them or with them.
Right.
That changes the whole vibe of the neighborhood as well.
Like our street alone probably has, I'm not even joking, 40 kids.
Wow.
Under
That's
12,
great.
I would say now.
That is
So,
fun.
Like for us to be able to let them out,
Yes.
how we grew up is huge. And they just run around and they're in each other's backyards and, climbing on top of fences and sheds. Like, I don't know. I
having
think
a life outside of a device in their hands.
Absolutely.
Oh, nice.
And we love that. Yeah.
It's definitely a small town feel as well. Everyone kind of knows each other. Yeah. It's a great community.
Yeah.
There's something to be said where you are moving into a neighborhood that has other kids. You are of a mindset as a parent, right, Roger, where you're looking out for the other kids.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
It's called playing defense.
Yeah.
Playing zone defense.
it's so fun. Like, I mean, my kids are grown up now. I mean, their age has grown up. Maturity, I can't speak to. But I do remember we had the benefit of growing up. I grew up. My kids grew up in Kleinburg, just north of here, and we had that scenario where there was a lot of kids in the neighborhood at that time. Mm-hmm. It made for such amazing memories where there might not have been otherwise.
Yeah. And what I love about it too is that I've built such a good, mom kind of group of these women. I literally call on them all the time. It really does take a village. And, with both of us in real estate and sometimes having the kids, we're both out of the house, and I literally can just go down the street and knock on my neighbor's door and be like, can you watch them for 30 minutes?
Can you bail me out?
They do.
Yeah.
And they do. And it's awesome. I mean, a few more years I won't have to do that, but it's a saving grace, really.
It's so cool that you work together. Is that you seem to get along just tickety-boo. How long have you been a real estate team?
2 years now.
Right.
So I've been in real estate 13 years, working for different teams. I decided to branch out on my own. Convinced Andrea to leave the corporate world a couple years ago and join me, and it's been a game changer for sure. Yeah. It's been an amazing experience. I think we're both loving it as a team. It's a good balance.
My wife would kill me in 3 weeks. Like literally, Roger, my phone would just be ringing, and he'd be like, "I knew this was
doing
going
the
to
podcast by myself.
Yeah. It would be echoey in here and more peaceful, frankly. What are some of the challenges getting into the market here?
Affordability now, with price increases. I mean, 17%, month over month. Year over year compared to February last year.
Yeah.
17% increase. Sales up 46% compared to last year. And
new
just
interest rates dropping.
New interest rates dropping and low inventory is just it's really difficult to get into the market now.
How are people finding their way into the market if they have a young family? I mean, you must have to be of the executive income variety.
You have to compromise some things. You're not going to get your full wish list at this point. Just be realistic.
Get into the market.
Hopefully you have a good agent that, guides you and tells you and, shows you that you might not be able to get everything that you want. And that's just the reality of it right now. But I feel like, we feel, I guess, that it's better to have, your foot in than not at all.
I think so.
And then you can work your way up.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it right now. So
if I wanted to get into the market in the neighborhood where I'm in now, at this point, it would be impossible. But we made a lot of sacrifices. Young, the first home that we bought, we got out at double the price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that made it possible to be in the home that we love.
No, absolutely.
So yeah, you have to get in.
You have to get in.
What do you do as a team to help people? You just mentioned it helps to have a good realtor. What does that mean? Does that mean an eye on the market, knowing your needs, staying in touch? What are some of the ways that you deal with clients in that regard?
Yeah, we're very involved with the market, obviously being in it. We push for a customer experience. So our whole thing is we know the homes ahead of time before even sending it to our clients. Sending an email and say, hey, this listing just popped up. We checked it out. This ticks off all the boxes. So that's one of the things we really focus on is customer experience as a team. You get the two of us. We're not a big team.
But we're hands-on.
We're hands-on. We're very, very hands-on.
One of the things that we'll do for our clients if they can't be, going to see it because everyone's time is, so precious these days, we'll totally go out and we'll do WhatsApp videos and do a tour of the home for them and send it to them and be like, listen, I think that you'd really like this. I think it's worth, your time to come and check it out.
Come and take a look, yeah. Okay, we've shown you as much as we can this way because we really believe that this might be something for you.
Absolutely.
That's a
great service.
That's a cool step.
Yeah, we have to be bang on. We have to be quick just because the market, it changes week by week. So we really, really have to be on top of things. And that's one of the things we do well is touring the home and pushing it to them and say, hey, this is going to fit, tick all the boxes, this is going to work, I think you should come see it. Just because it'll sell in a matter of days.
We will need to get you back to delve a little deeper, but you talked about Mystic Point and some of the other sort of condo community projects.
Yeah.
How that must be on the rise in a big way, development-wise, in this neighborhood now.
Yes, especially where Mimico Village meets Mystic Point. There's a big hole in the ground right now beside Mimico.
Yeah.
Van Dyke Developments has bought that property. They're eventually going to turn it into condos there. Free Developments, who predominantly focused on downtown and Muskoka, has bought up a lot of land back there as well. Grand Park Village, so eventually that's going to be all condos.
Right.
So it's going to change the dynamic of the neighborhood. It's going to be a lot busier. And again, like the Christie factory at Humber Bay Shores, like that's another prime area.
That's going to be, it's going to be called the Cookie Factory, that one for sure.
Yeah.
We can take a bet right now. I guarantee you it'll be called the Cookie Factory, because we had the Candy Factory, we had the Toy Factory.
Chocolate Loft.
That's right, yeah.
Exactly.
Where all these former businesses were.
That's right.
Being in real estate, I don't necessarily love the fact that there's going to be a lot of condos there. There needs to be a balance. A lot of people have a hard time getting out of there in the mornings. There's only like one traffic light, and it takes 20 minutes to 30 minutes for these people to get out of their condos. So for them to push, a 70-story condo, I'm not really for that. I'm more for low density, maybe mixed use there. More offices, more retail would be nice.
It's funny how the market says we need 50,000 units a year. We're only making 30. Build condos.
Yeah, and
we don't have them.
There's a flip side to
that. We don't have the
too.
resources to handle that. If
That's
everybody
right.
moves in, the influx of that traffic, as you point out, is clogging. Yeah.
That's right.
So it's tough. Like we have a lot of clients looking to buy, but there's just no product. So there's that. But then the other side of it is, well, we don't want too much density in one particular pocket too, because it just drives traffic, right? And if you don't put in the resources like proper infrastructure, more retail, et cetera, it's not going to be really desirable in the long term. So
I'd love to get you back to talk about hot spots in the neighborhood, downsizing, financing, and first homes. Because I think that it's very neighborhood specific when it comes to that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so in future episodes, I think it's real important that we keep this link to understanding what's happening with the real estate and the market itself.
For sure. We love
love
that.
to come
Yeah.
back.
And not just in Mimico, but I think you guys can speak intelligently about real estate in South Etobicoke.
Absolutely.
And West Toronto. Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's a good perspective to have when it's the neighborhood that's left to grow, really. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's true.
Very cool. Okay, so adrianandandrea.com. I own that, but I'll sell it to you guys if you want before you go. And people can find out more there. What's on your website that cuts you apart? Can people just contact you that way, let you know what they're looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. Website, we have listings. It's not a page where you go to go to MLS and look for a ton of listings. It's more of a personal page. It tells you a little bit about us, about your customer experience. But yeah, you can contact us directly through there.
And you guys have a cool blog.
Yes.
We do.
Where you post
And I was just gonna
stories
mention
about
that.
local
Yes.
businesses.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. So every
What's
month.
that?
Yeah, every month we feature a resident in our neighborhood that owns a business, and we try to help promote them through interviewing them.
Write a blog.
Yeah, so we post that on our website and
wow.
on our social. It's really cool just to get some.
Sorry, I cut you off there. And we feature them in Lakeshore Press.
That's right.
That's what kind of drove it in the beginning.
That's right.
Oh,
a year
that's
ago
so
we met
cool.
Roger. We know a lot of business owners in the Mimico pocket that own businesses within South Etobicoke as well, and it was so unique that we started with help of Roger promoting them and giving a little exposure to us. That we got to meet new business owners as well. And then we promoted through Lakeshore Press and our blog, and then we started doing flyers as well. So the businesses really appreciated what we were doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a really cool. Actually, that's a very community oriented thing to do. And so where can people follow you on the socials, by the way?
Adrian.andrea.realtors on Instagram, Adrian and Andrea Toronto Real Estate on Facebook, and our website, adrianandrea.com. Everything's Adrian and Andrea, as you can tell.
Roger, you got a lot of cool friends.
I do. Yeah,
I've noticed this. So we had the ice cream guy, Mark, there.
Yes.
He's really cool.
Yes.
Amanda Kirkland, she's just awesome. Can we bring another guest in next week?
Oh, for sure.
All right, let's do that.
I'm on it.
Stay with the podcast. Subscribe. Tell a friend about it. Don't forget to check out Etobicoke Lakeshore Press.com. This podcast now exists on YouTube after some major circus acting with you and I, huh? Boy, are we acrobats. And we'll encourage you to find out more about getting your own podcast, and you can reach out to Roger to do that. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.